we get as citizens? Let's make this personal. What did you, as a Guyanese, get from this visit? Absolutely nothing. The U.S. Secretary of State came and left with his maritime agreement. He left some money, but it was directed at the Venezuelan refugees. Once again, Guyanese get nothing and are left empty-handed. Here we are, caught in the middle between Exxon and Venezuela, and we have nothing to show for it. We Guyanese don't even know the full details regarding oil deals conducted on our behalf by our political leaders with Exxon. We could not even get a peep out of Mr. Pompeo about the oil-rich Kanji and Kaieteur blocks, which are long shrouded in secrecy. Everybody benefits handsomely, except Guyanese, who are forced yet again to be contented with poverty. Look careful post-Pompeo. America benefits. Exxon continues to benefit. Guyanese political leaders benefit because their deceptions are concealed. Only citizens come out poorer. We ask about Kanji and Kaieteur and a wall goes up. We talk about oil and the man comes and talks about terrorism and drugs and the sea, the things that matter to America. He protects his own, delivers to his own. Meanwhile, Guyanese leaders in government will maintain silence about Kanji and Kaieteur. What did you get? More falsehoods, foolishness, and frauds that cheat you out of your own birthright and future. Once again, I am Kevin Smith, and these are the top stories we're tracking. President Ali skirts U.S. journalists' question on fairness of Exxon deal. Contractors of Ocean View Hospital were overpaid millions. Facility a cesspool for corruption, says Minister of Health. And invaders attack nonpareil family, husband chopped. Meanwhile, U.S. moves to increase influence in Guyana's energy sector. And U.S. Secretary of State says we want Maduro out. Stay tuned to stay informed.
DJ Viper and Selector Chino every Saturday night from 6 to 8. Old is gold, bringing you the best in Indian oldies. Only on Kaieteur Radio, 99.1 and 99.5 FM.
And now for the news in detail. President Ali skirts U.S. journalists' question on fairness of Exxon deal. When correspondent Sean Tandon asked President Irfan Ali whether the deal is fair, the head of state sidestepped the question and proceeded to tell the agents, that should be the Agence France Press journalist, about other plans his administration has for the oil sector. Tandon asked Ali, the arrangement itself, do you feel that it is equitable? The president only offered that his administration is reviewing the Payara Field Development Plan, Exxon's third intended development. Despite lambasting the former David Gurja administration for the poor terms in the Stabroek Block Agreement on several occasions, the PPPC, now in government, refuses to renegotiate the deal. In other news, Minister of Health Dr. Frank Anthony has revealed that contractors of the Ocean View Infectious Disease Center at Liliendaal were being overpaid millions of dollars, calling the facility a cesspool for corruption. Anthony stated that 8 contractors were hired on June 16th to do works on the facility, and on that very day, certification and valuation of work were done for each contractor. This valuation assessed 67% to 90% of the work completed among contractors. The minister emphasized that payments were hurriedly made to these contractors, and it was discovered that the contractors received their payments even days before the accounting officers signed and certified their vouchers, something that is very questionable. Anthony claimed that the coalition government would have fooled the general public into thinking that they had a comprehensive plan to respond to the COVID-19 pandemic, and this was evidenced by the broken healthcare system they left behind. And now let's tell you that a family of 3 was last night attacked at their residence in the village of Nonpareil on the east coast of Demerara. It is understood that Monish Bachan received the most injuries, with brutal chop wounds about his body. A relative last night said that the invaders were reportedly shouting at him, demanding money while he begged for his life. They also reportedly dealt his wife, Christina Bachan, several blows to her head and stabbed their 14-year-old son, Munish Levi Bachan, to his chest. The attack was carried out by 3 men, but there was no word yet on the motive or their identities, with police tight-lipped last night on the details of the incident. And now let's tell you that following his engagement with U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, President Irfan Ali announced yesterday that the USA and Guyana will be deepening bilateral relations in the energy sector. Expounding further, the head of state said that a framework agreement towards this end was signed between the U.S. government and the government of Guyana to strengthen energy and infrastructure finance and market building cooperation in the context of the Growth in the Americas initiative. Ali said this agreement will stimulate the enhancement of the business environment for U.S. private sector investment in Guyana, particularly in the fields of energy, both on renewable and renewables, and infrastructure. Ali said too that the agreement will pave the way for the U.S. private sector to expand their investment portfolio and partner with the Guyanese private sector. And moving on, still on U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo, he said that an immediate end must come to the illegitimate regime of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. It was during that historical engagement in which Pompeo reminded attendees of the importance of democracy and respecting the will of the people. However, that same respecting of the people's will cannot be said for Guyana's neighbor to the west, after Maduro was sworn in for his second six-term year under legitimate and undemocratic terms. His success to the presidency was met with widespread condemnation. In fact, minutes after he took the oath, the Organization of American States had approved a resolution declaring his presidency illegitimate and had called for new elections. You are tuned in to Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM, and this is your news at noon. Coming up after the break, Pompeo says China's money comes with strings, but that U.S. wants to grow Guyana. Chinese embassy tells him not to spread fake news. Meanwhile, media treated unfairly during Pompeo's historic visit to Guyana. And MP Roysdale Ford says attacks on Sarah is reprehensible. Meanwhile, GNBS to provide crucial services to various sectors, and 75 new COVID-19 cases recorded.
Hey kids, are you home and don't know what to do? Then Kaieteur Radio has got you covered. Join us every day, Monday to Friday at 12 hours 30 for a special edition of Kidzone. We will bring to you exciting facts on science, mammals, birds, sharks, you've name it, we've got it. We've even got fun and craft activities for you to do right at home, not forgetting our maths and English segment to keep you up top of the game. Listen to stories and poems read by your fellow kids. And if you would like to be a part of this program, then have your parents contact us on 622-2222 or email us at kaieteurradio@gmail.com. Kidzone, only on Kaieteur Radio 99.1, 99.5 FM. The radio with a difference.
Welcome back. Let us continue with the news. U.S. State Secretary Michael Pompeo yesterday said that China's investments come with strings, but that the U.S. brings foreign direct investment that is clean. This drew the Chinese embassy in Guyana to urge Pompeo not to spread fake news. Making his case under State House's Baridi Benab, the secretary rejected any assertion that U.S. investments are a threat to Guyana's sovereignty. The Chinese embassy said that Pompeo is attempting to sow discord between China and Guyana's immediate neighbor to the east. It urged Pompeo to stop spreading rumors about China. Meanwhile, with the historical arrival of Pompeo, many of the local journalists of the diverse group had anticipated that they would have been given the opportunity to discuss different, pressing issues with the U.S. official. However, those journalists encountered and expressed sheer disappointments after only one local journalist was permitted to ask Secretary Pompeo questions. After Pompeo's joint press conference with President Irfan Ali, one journalist said that he had hoped that the Secretary of State could have given some advice to Guyana in the area of petroleum, since it had led the way in transparency on how to prudently steward the oil and gas sector. And moving on, opposition MP Roysdale Ford yesterday blasted the PPPC administration for their attacks on the soon-to-be disbanded SARA. As the final day in the 2020 budget debates go underway at the Arthur Chang Conference Center, Ford deemed the attacks, and I quote, reprehensible, and cited that it represented the first salvo of the independence of public institutions. According to Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs Anil Nandlal, all the agency managed to do was file a few cases in respect of plots of land sold by the PPPC administration at market value. In other news, the Guyana National Bureau of Standards, or GNBS, will be providing pertinent services to various sectors in the country, according to their press release issued yesterday. The GNBS is Guyana's standard body responsible for protecting the public from substandard products and services. They are also mandated to adapt to international standards and implement them within various sectors. They announced that they now play a major role in the oil sector. This includes ensuring accurate measurements are carried out during the lifting of crude from the offshore oil vessels. GNBS is authorized to carry out this function according to Article 6 of the Petroleum Agreement. The time is now 12 hours 14. Coming up next is your COVID-19 update. Stay tuned.
Guyana is now a full-fledged oil-producing nation. But how much do you know about this valuable yet finite resource? On our radio program, Guyana's Oil and You, we strike at the heart of every issue with informed views and credible data. The time is now for you to arm yourself with insightful knowledge on your oil wealth.
And now for your COVID-19 update. The number of worldwide coronavirus cases, according to Worldometer, has reached 30,775,664, with deaths at 957,676. Recovery cases has reached 22,408,990. A total of 75 new COVID-19 cases were yesterday recorded, bringing the number of confirmed cases to 2,102. According to the Ministry of Health's daily update, there are currently 16 persons in the ICU at the Georgetown Public Hospital. 66 persons are in institutional isolation, 644 are in approved home isolation, and 86 are in institutional quarantine. The total number of deaths is 62 after 2 deaths were recorded on Thursday, an 83-year-old woman and a 53-year-old man, both from Region 4. Both the Chedi Jagan International Airport at Temeri and the Eugene F. Correa International Airports at Ogle are open to facilitate repatriation flights, limited outgoing flights, cargo flights, medical evacuation flights, technical stops for fuel, and other special authorized flights. Minister of Public Works Juan Edgel disclosed that several air operators, including Eastern Airlines, Caribbean Airlines, Trans-Guyana Airways, Roraima Airways, and ExxonMobil flights are permitted to operate special authorized and repatriation flights to process passengers desirous of coming to Guyana once they satisfy the necessary health, safety, and aviation regulatory requirements. And that's your COVID-19 update at this time. Thank you for listening. And that's the news of the moment. Remember to get the full details of these stories, pick up a copy of the Kaieteur News. And don't forget, you can catch us on the MyTuner app as well as the Radio Garden app. You can also keep up to date by liking our Facebook page at Kaieteur Radio and subscribing to our YouTube channel, Kaieteur Radio Livestream. Oh, also catch our stream at www.kaieteurnewsonline.com/radio.